Despite what the title of the episode may suggest, Grandpa versus Sexual Inadequacy is actually a very sweet episode and very heartfelt, but again, not without its comedy. This is the 10th episode of the 6th season of The Simpsons. This is directed by Wesley Archer and it was released in December 1994. It's got 8 out of 10 on IMDb, which is a pretty decent rating. It's not one of the most highly rated episodes based on that, but certainly it's one that seems to be well liked, and I think it's got quite a lot going. Thinking back on the episode, it packs a lot in to a very short space of time. Grandpa Simpson, Abe, has created this tonic, an aphrodisiac tonic, that basically turns all of the adults in Springfield completely rampant, and there's this fabulous bit where they're off doing their thing and the children are just kind of left to their own devices. And I think they played that bit out for like a really perfect amount of time. They didn't just gloss over it briefly, they allowed the comedy to build there, but not so much that it felt like it was getting repetitive and they were just, laughing at people having sex, basically. So I think the pacing for this episode as a whole is brilliant, because once we get over that kind of initial amusement, the main point of the narrative kicks in. Homer and Abe decide to go on the road to sell this tonic to various different places. Let's face it, sex sells. They have the potential to make a lot of money. And they do have some lovely, maybe slightly forced, but certainly apparent father-son bonding. And I always like seeing them bonding. I do get annoyed though when Grandpa Simpson kind of ever so slightly always pushes the boundaries and says something a bit nasty back. He can never just let the moment happen, and that is the only thing I don't like about his character, is that most of the time it's fine, but every now and then I want the sweet moments to happen, and most of the time he ruins it. And yeah, most of the time that works because that's his character, but just once every now and then I'd like him to appreciate the moment for what it is. But they go on their way, and then they dig into Homer's past a bit and it gets quite sentimental. We learn a bit more about Homer's upbringing and his early years. And then something happens that drives the wedge between the two of them and things get a little bit less father-son bonding. I won't say any more than that just now, but I really enjoyed it. I really like this narrative. I think it's very funny. I really enjoyed, obviously, the beginning with the children just being kind of confused about what was going on. I found it to be very entertaining. And then I liked the heartfelt moment of them spending time together and selling this product that's, genuine. If it works, they're making honest money. And then things get a bit tense, and it takes on a much more emotional and meaningful direction, and it really is an emotional roller coaster. And, it goes from being, quite frankly, in my opinion, hilarious to kind of sentimental, heartfelt, and a little bit overly emotional, and it works really well. And it's definitely, for me, one of the most well-rounded, well-written, well-executed episodes. Having said that, it probably doesn't make my list of top 10 favourites. But because it's so beautifully done and so well-crafted, I can't help but really appreciate it. So I guess a spoiler warning now. I'm going to discuss another aspect that I liked. I don't know if liked is the right word to use, but I did like it. So spoiler from now. Towards the end, once they've kind of reconciled and the house is burning down behind them, I don't know why, but I really enjoyed it. There was just something about that. The fact they weren't running away from it, the amount of analysis you could do about the fact that Homer's, childhood home is burning down, and, burning down relics of the past. You could do a lot of analysis into it. But just on the surface, I just really liked kind of how they were both very much alike in that moment, and their reactions were very much the same, and I thought it was beautiful. It really is a really brilliant episode that I will happily watch again and again. From start to finish, it's beautifully crafted, and I'm sure there is room for improvement, but right now, I can't find it.